We're seeing it with oil. We're seeing it with food products. So we're seeing these companies, they're not just passing along the cost of the higher input. They're not just passing along their supply chain difficulties. They are using this supply chain moment to increase their profits by raising their prices well beyond the higher costs that they're facing.
Katie Porter does an excellent job explaining how it isn't runaway inflation, but rather corporate greed that's driving up prices. One of the areas where most people are finding financial pain is at the pump. You've seen gas repeatedly hit new record highs for the past several weeks and even a few months, and those prices have been increasing for several months now. And now we're at a new record high where in 10 states, the average price for a gallon of gas is well over $5. That's way too expensive, and you have to wonder what's driving up the cost. Well, the right wants you to believe it's Joe Biden's policies. They want to blame it on the Green New Deal. They want to blame it on green energy policies, renewable energy initiatives, his failed leadership. All of these different types of things have been trotted out as excuses, but you really got to look at it. What really has Joe Biden done? Unfortunately, not a lot. For instance, the Green New Deal is not the law. I wish it was, but it's not. It's just kind of an idea right now. We're so far from that ever being policy. On the sustainable energy front, Biden just yesterday signed an executive order to green-light the import of solar panels. You know, that's not really putting a huge dent, or hasn't at least put a huge dent in our energy consumption here yet. And these are good things and good ideas, but that's not really what's governing our energy policy. The problem is corporate greed. And she makes a good point. If you're simply passing on higher costs to the consumer, that wouldn't lead to double or quadrupled profits. But that's what we're seeing from oil companies. They're posting record profits. Their executives are getting huge paydays. Their investors certainly are happy. They're seeing huge windfalls of cash. So where's that coming from? That's coming from you. That's coming from you paying more because they're price gouging you. And that's really frustrating when so many people are struggling. For instance, just this week, we saw a new report that half of the families who received an increased child tax credit that has since expired are now struggling to pay for food. Food. If they can't afford food as is, and that is going up, the prices of food is going up, they're definitely not going to be able to handle doubling gas prices. And prices are going up across the board. It's because companies see an opportunity in this moment to price gouge you.
You cannot look at Wall Street's profits and not come to the conclusion that this is one of the most profitable moments that Wall Street has ever seen, and they are profiting off what they view as really an opportunity to engage in price gouging. And we have to crack down on that as we also try to solve some of these underlying inflationary factors.
Sure, there are some economic and geopolitical conditions that have increased prices a little bit here and there, but you can't actually blame the war on Ukraine, for instance, for doubling the price of oil. Russian imports of oil were already low enough for us as is. But that's what they want you to believe because they don't want you to see the ultimate culprit, and that's corporate greed. Greedy executives, people who don't give a shit about you. People who want to nickel and dime you and wring every last penny out of you that they can. They don't care if you're struggling to make ends meet. They don't care if you're living paycheck to paycheck. They want a new yacht. They want a bigger house. They want yet another vacation. And what Biden could do is really limited, unfortunately, because of the stranglehold the oil and gas industry has on Congress. They're going to fight against any sort of price control. They're certainly going to fight against the Green New Deal. But more than anything, what they're going to protect is their subsidies. And we're still subsidizing the oil and gas companies. And that should theoretically have price controls on the price of gas, but it doesn't. And you can see in this moment that it doesn't work. We're just giving them billions every year for something that they aren't doing. So what good are these subsidies if they're just going to price gouge people anyway? But beyond all this, we have to talk about the basic material conditions people in this country face. Like I said, people are struggling to pay for groceries, and one thing we could do to help that would be to extend the child tax credit. But people within the Democratic Party are standing in the way, like Joe Manchin. Another thing we could do would be to increase wages, but people within the Democratic Party are standing in the way of that, like Sinema and Manchin. But what we really need to do is get corporate money out of politics, because those people are standing in the way because of their donors. And people are still going to fight to protect oil and gas subsidies because of donations from the oil and gas companies. That is common sense. That's going to influence their vote. Money into their campaign coffers and money to super PACs that support their campaigns is ultimately going to influence where they stand on an issue. Because if you ask a majority of Americans where they stood on the price of gas, they're going to hate it. They're going to want it to be lower. So make these companies really feel the hurt. Take away these giant giveaways to oil and gas companies. Invest that money into solar, into renewable energy, and into electric cars, into making those way more affordable than they are right now. It's great to celebrate the major automakers introducing new electric cars, but it's meaningless when those aren't affordable. And one of the things in Biden's Build Back Better plan addressed that. There were huge rebates and incentives for the purchase of electric cars. But again, Manchin and Sinema are standing in the way of that, not to mention every single Republican. So there's a lot that needs to be done to fix this long term, but right now we have to recognize the true culprit here. It's corporate greed.